We are there for the knowledge, right?
Nice. You've already developed a chemistry between you and documentation then.
Yes. And I always try also to look at it from, let's say, an information architecture point of view, right? And the moment in which we write for the user, we are also going to write for the AI, because
when reviewing the documentation and you feel like, that doesn't sound very user-friendly.
When the writer is not as technical as the developer, of course, there is I call it a translation work.
Some practical tips for making complex technical content, but more accessible to non-technical users.
Very interesting to see how we are changing how we write actually the documentation, so not.
Welcome to the Knowledge Base Ninjas podcast, where Gauri Ramkumar of Document 360 finds the best SaaS self-service knowledge bases in the world and then interviews their creators. Let's get started with today's episode.
Welcome everyone to the Knowledge Base Ninjas podcast, and with us we've got Daria Tombolelli, Team Lead Documentation at KNIME. Welcome, Daria. How are you doing today?
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. Perfect, great.
Now, please help us explain a little bit about yourself. How did you get into this professional journey, and how are you keeping yourself very active and motivated?
Yes, great. Actually, I am coming from a completely different background. I have studied chemistry in my bachelor, master, and I've done a PhD in chemistry. And after that, I was a bit looking into like data science and all the new, at least at that time, machine learning things happening around. And I tried to apply them into my job as a chemist. But I got always very interested in everything related to software and software development. And so I started looking for something else. And at some point, I found this company that was very interesting that I'm working at right now, who is a software company in the data science, analytics, and AI field. And I really wanted to join them. And there was basically a position open, or actually that was covered by someone else that was a developer at that time, who had a lot of other things. The company was growing at that time as well on his hands. And so I was asked if I would be interested in being a technical writer. And I was like, I always say that I actually, in one of my blog posts that I published some time ago, I always answered, let me Google that first. So I didn't know about technical writing at all, and I found very interesting communities and very interesting articles. So I was like, okay, this sounds really appropriate to what I have been doing also so far, because in the scientific field we write a lot of papers. Of course, it's very different, so I had to make quite a shift. But I was very interested in the field, and so I decided to start. And since then, it's been quite a journey. I've learned very, very many things from the community. As you notice, I have the Reddit Docs shirt. The community is very, very active, and I am always amazed by how much knowledge is shared. We are there for the knowledge, right? So this seems like the right thing. Yeah.
Thank you. And again, thank you once again for being part of this episode and sharing your valuable experiences to the audience today. Now, as a technical writer, how do you think your role has changed with all the AI that's evolving now, and also with the self-serving platforms?
Yeah, so I have to say that I've been one of the first people being super interested in the AI and the company, because I saw that would be a very big help. So mostly, of course, like there is a lot of talking about is AI gonna take our jobs or whatever. But I absolutely think that actually AI is just gonna, and it is already making our job much easier. It's much easier for me, for example, to understand, at least at the beginning, like some of the concepts that maybe I have no knowledge about yet. And sometimes I just have a conversation with ChatGPT and ask, hey, what is this terminology means, or can you give me a summary of something? And I mean, this is just really amazing, and it's made my job way easier and faster. And yeah, so it has really changed so much. And of course, also having the AI directly implemented or very close to the platform that we use, to the software that we use, is very much important. On the other side, of course, it's also very interesting to see how we are changing how we write actually the documentation. So not specifically practically how we write it, so our day-to-day work, but like how we kind of make our documentation AI ready. So this is a lot of also talking about this topic. And I've looked into that, and there is one sentence that I've heard in some YouTube video, I think, about the topic specifically for technical writing, and it was that in the moment in which we write for the user, we are also going to write for the AI, because that's how that's like the most important part, so that we have clarity, that we have all the things that we have been doing so far. It's very easy to adapt them to AI as well.
That's a nice way to put it. Like when you're writing the documentation, it's not only for the users, but also hopefully moving forward for the AI to understand it correctly. Nicely said, Daria. So that brings me to my next question is, like, what kind of documentation do you produce for the current organization? Is it a product documentation?
Yeah, so I'm taking care of, so the team is taking care of all the user-facing documentation. So we have different products that we work with and that we develop at the company. And one of them is more an open source software, and it's also very much community based. So there is a lot of feedback coming in from the community, and there is community developers. So there is also some interactions with the community. And then there is other softwares that we have that instead are enterprise softwares, and they are much more also advanced on the technology. So we have a lot of very complex documentation as well, but it's all user-facing documentation that we take care of, more than like internal or documentation or for our specifically for our developers. This is a bit out of the scope for the team in this case.
All right. So in that sense, can you share some practical tips for making complex technical content but more accessible to non-technical users?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's very difficult, especially when the writer is not as technical as the developer. Of course, there is I call it a translation work, right, from the development language to the very highly specific language as well, to something that is more understandable, but still correct, of course. So what I usually do is, as I was saying earlier, especially in the last couple of years, if there is some knowledge that I don't have, I try always to have a brief conversation with ChatGPT, for example, and ask to give me kind of the basic knowledge of a specific topic, and then from there I always try to, if there is something that I can test or that I can try practically with our software, for example, let's say the installation of our software, so that I can try it myself. And then I usually ask developers and all our internal also support agents, for example, and ask for having a call and seeing how this practically works, especially our support engineers that work with our customers hand in hand, and they produce a lot of documentation that explains what they did. Maybe it's very specific to a specific case or a specific installation that they did, for example. But I try to always get that also as a feedback to what we have. So I try to be as much as possible open to seeing firsthand how things are done, and then try to make it into something that is understandable and not oversimplified, of course, but simple enough for the specific user that we have in mind for that specific guide, for example.
Nice. Now, relating to that, any signs that you spot when reviewing the documentation and you feel like, that doesn't sound very user friendly?
I always try also to look at it from an experience point of view. So always also try to see how the guide, for example, looks on the page, and try, of course, other than looking at the terminology, but I think that how the documentation looks on the page is very important. So I look for longer sentences and places where I feel like I wouldn't be able to follow if I were to be someone that just wants the specific information in that specific bit of the guide and wants to know how to get from A to B and doesn't need to know too many other information. And I always try also to look at it from, let's say, an information architecture point of view, right? So how they got there and how they see the information on the page. So in that sense, I collaborate a lot also with the UX team. In that sense, they taught me so much about how users interact with what they see, right? So that's very, very interesting. And that's something I always try to put myself into the shoes of the reader.
Absolutely, rightly said. Yeah, that's one great way to see how your content is being consumed and experience the way the users will experience your own content, right? Okay, great.
Yeah, exactly.
Super. Now, let me just go with some rapid fire round questions, if that's okay with you. And
sure.
Looks like you read a lot of content just by looking at the t-shirt that you're wearing. And
yes.
Any valuable documentation related resource you can highlight to us today, please?
Yes, actually, of course, I have. There is so much content, as you were saying. One person actually I always follow on LinkedIn is Fabrizio Benedetti, and their blog is punto.uno, I think. And they have a lot of very useful content, and I recently read one of the posts that talks about their point of view on what is gonna come in 2025 for documentation, and I found that very, very interesting.
Thank you. So now, what is that one word that comes to your mind instantly when we say documentation?
As I was saying earlier, I would say experience.
Okay. A piece of advice you would give to your 20-year-old self?
Get into the field earlier.
Okay, nice one. Now, I know you've got ample amount of experience and things to share, but I try to see what is the latest trend and what could be of valuable to our audiences. But Daria, if there is anything else you would like to add that I missed to ask you, please feel free to speak out now, please.
Sure. Just one thing, if anyone is thinking about getting into the field and has a bit of unsure or uncertainty about how it is and how it is to work as a technical writer, I really, really highly recommend it because it's been a very interesting journey and there is a lot to learn. And so please become a technical writer. It's a very nice job.
Nice. You've already developed a chemistry between you and documentation then.
Yes.
Fantastic. So lovely talking to you, Daria, and all the very best for the current project and for all your future projects as well. And keep innovating and raising yourself up with all the AI innovations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very
Take
much.
care.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Knowledge Base Ninjas podcast. Please head to iTunes, rate, and provide honest feedback on the podcast. See you next week.